Hi, and welcome to Journey to Union. I want to talk today about 5 reasons you stop feeling your divine masculine. And I know that some of you have asked this question and are wondering why you feel like they're disconnected from you. And we do go into periods of really when we're actually disconnected from the union energy. And this is for a reason. And there is times where you disconnect, you reconnect, and this is normally energetically, and this is also what causes the runner chaser. And so on Patreon, I put up a video of the process of the divine masculine if you're interested. And really, there's a lot of information on Patreon, a lot more in detail information if you are interested and you want to learn more about this journey. Ascension mechanics, quantum physics, everything to do with the journey. I explain it in detail for you. I break it down. I've been studying this information myself for a few years, really, studying the details of it. So if you're interested, this is why I'm sharing everything now, because I feel like it's time to put this information out there for others to really receive this information for this journey. And this journey is not just about focusing on the divine masculine. There's so much more happening. However, we do get disconnected from our divine counterpart, and today I want to just mention 5 reasons why you stop feeling your divine counterpart, what's going on their side, and, really kind of explain this a little bit more, because like I said, we do go into the reconnection and disconnection on this journey. And before you come into the actual inner union, you're going to be disconnecting and reconnecting because the energies are trying to balance. So they're trying to come into the one unified field. So that is what's happening. So the energies will be coming and going, and you're going to have the connection and reconnection happening. So it is normal. It is part of the journey. And the reason you stop feeling the divine masculine is there's a few reasons why and what's happening with them specifically. So we're going to talk about that right now. So the first thing is that there is the dark night of the soul that happens on this journey. And so the dark night of the soul happens, for the feminine first. She's going through the process first. The divine masculine actually may go through the dark night of the soul on his journey, but the feminine is more of the one that's, leading this process. She's more of the one experiencing this ego death at the beginning. So what happens is that if you are in the dark night of the soul energy and you're in this deep purging energy and there's a lot going on, right? You're shedding layers and layers. Then you're going to disconnect from the union energy. You're going to disconnect from the masculine. So you're not going to feel him. And, this is why one of the reasons we don't feel the divine masculine. So, and on his side, if he's going through a lot in his life in the 3D, because remember, he's in the 3D, he's processing a lot more in the 3D, and that's how he learns his lessons. So he will be doing more of the 3D work. But if he's also going through something in the 3D, if there's a lot happening, then you'll feel that disconnection happening as well. So that will happen because of the dark night of the soul. So either one of you is in that phase, okay? So the second reason you stop feeling him is that he is busy in the 3D. So the divine masculine, he's very much in, when I talked about in the other video, is that he is very much, he has this ego structure and it's very much overtaking him. And there's a lot of programs, there's a lot of things that the divine masculine, is programmed in, and the ego is quite, big for the divine masculine. So he is very much going back to the ego because that's his safe spot. Okay. So he's busy in 3D. Normally, that's how he distracts himself. He's busy with other relationships. He's busy, with work. He tries to distract himself, and that's how he runs away from the connection. So that's what he's doing. And if he's busy in 3D, if he's really trying to, get away from this, then you're not going to feel him so much. And that is why we feel them more at night, because that's when, they're not bombarded by 3D stuff, by 3D energies, and they're more in their, higher self. They're asleep, the ego's quiet. So it's really about, him being busy and distracted in the 3D. So he's not going to be very much connected to himself and his soul. So when he's disconnected from himself, his soul, you're not going to really feel that. You're not going to tap into that. So number 3 is that there is third-party energy or other soul connections. So when there is any kind of third-party energy involved, this can be romantic, this can be, friendships, this can be parents, family, anything like that. Third-party energy is just, 3D energy, other soul connections, other connections that he's involved with that, are occupying his life, and he's in those connections, he's learning from those connections, he's involved with that. So he's there is really a disconnect from the union, and he's more focused on those connections. So then there is a disconnect happening, and so then you stop feeling him in those times, or when he's in those connections, right? So we disconnect from them, and that's fine, because we don't really want to be connected to his energy when he is having these other connections, because it can interfere even with our own energy. So he has to go through that, and it's best that we do disconnect, and then he has to go through the soul lessons or whatever he has to learn on his side in those connections to process. So that is what happens when we disconnect from him, and there's other connections involved. And so this happens, quite a lot on this journey where we disconnect, because there is third-party energies and other soul connections that come in. So the divine masculine, he will be, very much involved in those connections. So the fourth thing is he's in his ego. And so this is really, the divine masculine, like I said, he tries to go back to his ego, and he tries to block the connection, and he tries to, shut down his emotions. He tries to really go back to what's logical and what makes sense to him. And so, a lot of the times that's what he will really go back to, resort to, is the ego, and really the comfort, what he knows makes logical sense, and, all of these things that are very grounded, because the actual twin flame connection doesn't feel like that to him. It feels, overwhelming for him, and he has this ego program, and this is what he will resort back to and follow. So a lot of the times he can actually push away because of the ego, and you will actually feel that even inside, even inside you could feel that he's resisting. There's some kind of resistance happening on his side. And so that is usually when he'll push the connection away, he'll push himself away, because you are him. So he's trying to run away from all of that. And the ego is trying to protect us from the ascension and from the whole process, really, because the ego doesn't understand any of it. And so when we're in the ego, it doesn't want any of this to happen. It doesn't understand the spiritual process. It doesn't understand any of that. So the divine masculine, he's trying to protect himself from all of this. And that's when the ego comes in, to try to protect us from all of these things, that is feeling like it's not feeling comfortable, and it's not feeling like it is normal, and we're actually trying to fight the process a lot at the beginning. So that's where the divine masculine is at. And so he'll try to resist it in that way. And so you'll even feel that resistance coming from his side. And so the last thing is that there is inner work that is happening on either side. So when there is inner work happening on, the divine masculine side, or your side, which is, divine feminine, she's really going through a lot of inner work on this journey. So a lot of the times we need to disconnect because, like I said, there is a lot of inner work that we have to go through. And so that is when we disconnect in order to really purge, in order to do this like deeper work. And, that could go on for a while because you need to go through the stages of releasing to then reconnect and balance the energy. So that's what the energy is trying to do. The energy is trying to come back into one. But in order for that to happen, we have to balance our own individual energy. And so this is really important. And so this is why we disconnect, because there's inner work happening either with you or with them. Okay, so this is what is happening, and this is what's going on. So I did talk about inner union and how the energies are trying to balance, how they try to come into the one energy. And so this is really important because this is what the energies are trying to do. But it is on an individual level. And on the feminine, like for the feminine, she has to be the one to alchemize the lower energies and then, create that inner union. And then, her divine masculine merges with her into the one field, into the one energy, because we're coming back into the one. So this is what's happening throughout the whole journey, is that these energies are trying to merge back into one, because that is their natural way. That is how they were originally created. We were created as one and we split into two bodies. So what we're doing is we're coming back into the one field. And so these energies are trying to do that naturally. They're trying to come back to their original design, their original divine blueprint. And so this is what the journey is all about. And that's why we have this, back and forth, disconnection, reconnection, and there's a lot happening. There's a lot happening on the quantum level. It is all ascension. It is all energetics. And the more you understand it, the more the journey will make sense, and then you will get it on that deeper level. And also it'll activate the memories and codes that you need to excel you in this journey. So that's why I create this extra content and all of that to make you remember all of it. Okay, so that was the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and I really thank you for listening and being here. And I send you all my love, and I'll speak to you in the next video.